Okay, and then just to make sure, it should be visible from about here, about there on the screen. Okay. Okay, guys, go to page 238 and 239. Hang on, face shield emergency. Just came on. If I do this, you might actually be able to see my mouth. All right. Let's go through the lunar phases real quickly. If we start with new moon, what are we going to see the next night? A waxing crescent. And what does a waxing crescent look like?
It's on the illuminated part's on the right side.
Okay, it's a little sliver, and that lit up sliver is on the right-hand side if it's a waxing crescent. Okay. All right, good deal. Now, how long does waxing crescent last?
5.
Several days, like almost a week. Okay? New moon, honestly, is like an instant. Like when it's exactly like 0% illuminated, meaning the side facing us. But the moon is always moving in its orbit. So gradually, even when the percentage is super, super small, it's technically, we start waxing crescent. Okay? So waxing crescent goes for about a week. Usually it's just we designated a day, like this day is new moon. Although new moon is really just like a point in time. Does that make sense to you guys?
Like a second or so.
Yeah, it's like when is it exactly like not lit up at all, the side facing us. Same thing with full moon, same thing with first and last quarter. But usually what we do is we just designate this is the day that the new moon fell on, so we just call that day new moon. Okay, same thing with first quarter, same thing with full, same thing with last quarter. But your waxing crescent, your waxing gibbous, your waning gibbous, your waning crescent, those all last about a week. So like the night after a new moon, I'm going to see a really, really skinny waxing crescent. And then the night after that, I'll see another waxing crescent, but it'll be a little bit thicker. And the night after that, it's a little bit fatter. And the night after that, a little fatter, until it's fat enough that it's a first quarter. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the phase after waxing crescent again? First quarter. What does it look like?
Half of the moon lit
Which
up.
half is lit?
Right side.
The right side is lit up. Right side is illuminated. So, first quarter. Okay. And then as we go on, after its first quarter, it continues to get, the lit part gets a little bit fatter each night. And we're now on what phase?
Waxing gibbous.
Waxing gibbous. Okay, waxing gibbous is going to have, it's going to be more than 50% illuminated, but the illuminated side is on the right-hand side. You'll see that? Okay. Then what are we going to have?
Full moon.
Then a full moon. Trick question. How much of the moon is illuminated on a full moon?
100. Well, 50%.
Always 50%. But why are we calling it a full moon?
Because we can see all 50%.
100% of the side facing us
Is illuminated.
is illuminated. It's the side facing away from us that's also dark. Okay? Do y'all understand that? And when we talk about the phases, we're talking about how much of the side facing us is illuminated. For full moon, 100% of the side facing us is illuminated. Even though only 50% of the moon is illuminated at any given time. Right? Which part of the moon is illuminated?
The side facing
The side facing the sun. And which part is dark?
The side facing away from
The
the
side
sun.
facing away. How much of the earth is always illuminated?
50%.
50%. Which side is lit up?
Side facing the
Side
sun.
facing the sun. Which part is in darkness?
Facing away
Side
from the
facing
sun.
away. Okay, so you get all the way to full moon, and you have the side facing us is 100% illuminated on a full moon. Okay. So, we've gone from new, which is like 0% of the side facing us is illuminated, and increased gradually each night over the course of about 2 weeks until we get to full. But we can't go any more than 100% of the side facing us illuminated. So what are we going to do then?
Go down.
We're
Which is
going to,
waning.
the amount that's illuminated, the illuminated side facing us is going to start decreasing. Okay, so full, what's the next phase?
Waning.
Waning.
Gibbous.
Okay. And this time, your waning gibbous, the lit part, the illuminated part is on the left-hand side. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see how this looks different than this? Okay. Again, a waning gibbous lasts for several nights. The night after a full moon, it might be so illuminated that it almost looks like a full moon again. Okay, because it's just gradually, night after night, decreasing the amount that's illuminated. Okay, but after several nights, more like 6 or 7, what phase are we hitting next? Third quarter. Or what can I also call it? Last quarter. Go to your book pages on page 239. If you haven't already, where it says third quarter, what do you need to write? Last quarter, because those two things are synonymous. Oh my gosh, what does that mean? If things are synonymous, if I'm talking about a synonym,
Same.
it means yeah, it's two terms that mean the same thing. So last quarter is the same as third quarter. Got it? So where yours says third quarter, right underneath it in parentheses put last quarter. Because sometimes I'll say last quarter, sometimes I'll say third quarter. It's the same thing. Everybody got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, how do I tell a third quarter from a first quarter?
One's on the right.
Okay.
The illuminated.
First
side.
quarter, we had it lit on the right-hand side. Last quarter, it's
Left
lit
hand.
on the left. Think. Last, lit, left. LLL. Last quarter lit on the left. Okay? So we got last quarter. And then the night after a last quarter, it's going to be a waning crescent, but it's going to be a really fat waning crescent, right? Like almost 50%. But then it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until we get back to new. So what is the phase? Uh-oh, I'm missing a moon. Hang on, I'm missing a lunar phase. Oh, that's because it's still on my stick. Okay. What do we have after last quarter? Waning
Crescent.
crescent. And then if I had another one, I would put new over here, right? Miss Dot, why is that waning crescent fatter than that waxing crescent? Maybe this waxing crescent was only a night or two after the new moon. Maybe this waning crescent is like 3 or 4 nights before we get through next new moon. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because remember, waxing crescent lasts for like a week, and it changes gradually each night. Waxing gibbous lasts about a week, and changes every night. Waning gibbous lasts about a week, changes gradually each night. Waning crescent lasts about a week, changes gradually each night. Everybody got it? Okay, next thing, now that we've got our little phases up here, these are basically the pictures that you have in your book. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you guys have ever gone outside at night, you may have noticed that what you actually see, particularly with your crescent moons, doesn't quite line up with what you're getting for a picture in your diagrams. Because, for instance, like this was a picture that I took one night, and you can definitely tell what phase it is. What phase is it?
And waxing crescent.
It's a waxing crescent. How do I know? Because it's a little sliver, a little crescent, and it's illuminated on the right-hand side. But do you see that the illuminated part kind of looks like it's slumped towards the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that one's not too bad. Can y'all see that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember the little Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland? That's what it reminds me of. The little creepy smile that he's got. But do you notice, this is a crescent moon for sure, right? But because the illuminated part is really pretty much slumped towards the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell just from a photograph whether it's waxing or waning. Now, am I going to do this to you on a test and ask you if it's waxing or waning? No, because that would just be me, okay? This is actually another waxing crescent, and if you look really carefully, you can tell it's lit a little bit more on the right than it is on the left. But it's hard to tell. Okay, here's another one. And this one, I actually like this photo because there's enough, it hasn't gotten super, super dark yet, so there's enough extra light that you can actually see the unilluminated part of the moon. There's your waxing crescent. But again, that little lit crescent is kind of slumped down towards the bottom. Y'all see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to talk about why we see that, even though they're giving you this in your
Is
diagram
it
picture.
because of the tilt of the Earth or something?
It's not because of the tilt, and people have been guessing it's because the orbit is tilted 5 degrees. It's not that either, okay? All right, so we're going to start with the sun. Can y'all use your imagination? Here is my horizon, okay? The sun comes up on what horizon? East. The sun rises in the east. It moves overhead and sets in the west. Everybody got it? Now, watch these two little markers. They come up, they move overhead, and over here they were on the top. Now where are they?
Bottom.
On the bottom. Okay. So basically your sun kind of cartwheels across the sky. Everybody got it? What is this?
Right.
This is midday.
Mhm.
Okay? This is when the sun is highest in the sky. Okay. So we've kind of introduced what we're talking about with the sun, but let's talk about, oops, sorry. Let's do a waxing crescent. Okay. You have a waxing crescent moon. Here is your situation. You're going to have the sun rise. Okay, the sun's going to rise above your horizon, and then the moon comes up. Can you see that waxing crescent when the sun is up?
No.
Why not?
Because it's like right there.
It's too close to the sun in the sky. All right, when does it look like the diagram? When it's at its highest point in the sky. So what they gave you on the diagram picture is what it looks like when it's at its highest point in the sky. But are you ever going to be able to see a crescent like this?
No.
Again, why not?
Because it's right there.
Because
It's
right
too
there.
close.
Yeah.
You're looking towards the sun to try to see it. And you can't see it. There's too much glare. Okay? Is it there?
Yes.
Yes. And if you could see it, does it look like this?
No. Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it would look like. But you can't see it. It's too close to the sun in the sky. Everybody got it? All right, what's the only time I'm going to be able to see that waxing crescent moon?
Comes down
When
the
it,
sun
okay,
is
when the sun has
Set.
set and the moon is on its way down as well. So look at the illuminated side. I don't see it here. Why not? Because the
Too
sun's
close.
up. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I still don't see it because it's too close to the sun. I'm not going to see that waxing crescent until the sun sets. So a waxing crescent moon, this guy, you'll see in the evening on which horizon?
West.
This was east,
West.
this is west. You'll see them on the western horizon. Okay? Now, each night, the waxing, the illuminated part gets bigger because what's happening? The angle between the sun, Earth, which is me, and the moon is gradually opening up night after night, right? Okay. What is after waxing crescent?
First quarter.
First quarter.
First quarter.
All right, let's look at first quarter. This is an exercise in coordination as well as anything else. I feel like one of those people at the airport that's, does the thingamajig. Okay, so here we go. Sun comes up, and at about noon, what's on the horizon, over here rising?
Moon.
The moon, okay? When is this first quarter at its highest point in the sky? At about sunset. Y'all see that? Is this enough space for you to catch this and see it in the sky?
Probably.
Yes.
Yes. Now, when you do see the moon during the day, it's very faint, if you've ever looked at it, okay? But it is there, okay? So, your moon's going to rise at about midday, right? Midday is based on where the sun is. And at about sunset, it's at its highest point in the sky. Y'all see that? And it's going to set at about midnight. You'll see how that works? Okay. What's next after first quarter?
Waxing gibbets.
Waxing gibbets. All right. What do you say about the angle?
Almost 180, but not
Okay,
quite.
even bigger than it was when we had first quarter. Okay. Let's see if I can get it right. Okay, I can't even really do it because the angle's too big. All right. The sun comes up. The sun is like way over here on its afternoon part of its path before the moon is even what?
Up.
Okay, so the moon comes up in the afternoon. Now the sun has set, and the moon hasn't even gotten to its highest point. So it's going to be up in the afternoon, and it's going to set in the wee hours of the morning. Does that make sense? All right. Increase your angle a little bit more. Now what?
It's a full moon at 180 degrees.
There you go. 180 degrees, full moon. All right. When you have a full moon and the sun is rising, what is the moon doing? Setting. And when the sun is setting, the moon is rising. Okay? Make sense? Okay. I'm not going to go back through waning gibbous or last quarter, but I do want to show you waning crescent. Okay. For a waning crescent, the angle has now closed up and looks like this. Remember, waxing crescent was like this, right? Okay, so now we've got waning crescent. Who's coming up first?
Moon.
The moon. So when are you going to be able to see a waning crescent moon?
In the morning.
In the early morning before sunup. And which horizon will you see it?
The east.
On the eastern horizon. Okay, so you see the waning crescent come up, but then as soon as the sun comes up, you're not going to see it anymore. Because they're too close together they're too close together in the sky. Does that make sense? Will you see a waning crescent over here in the evenings?
No.
No. Okay, because it sets before the sun. Do you see that? Do you now understand, hopefully, a little better why you see this even when your diagram pictures are giving you like this?
So say that picture was taken in the morning, then it would be a waning crescent.
Right. Now, if you look really carefully, you can see it's
Yeah.
a little bit over, yes. If I mean, if you were really, really, really just into it, and I said, hey, I see a crescent moon in the morning in the east,
Mhm.
you would know that that's a waning
Waning
crescent.
crescent.
Or if I said, I see a crescent moon in the evening in the west,
Then it's a.
you would know that it's a waxing crescent. I'm not gonna do that to you on the test. I think that's a little bit more than you guys need to suffer through. But, yeah. Okay, but like I said, on the test, am I gonna do this to you?
No.
No, because that would be me. I'll give you the, I'll give you the little diagram pictures, just to understand why this doesn't look like what you actually see. Have I answered that question?
Yes.
Okay. All right, can you turn that off? All right, you have the rest of the class period to finish your lunar phase